All right, welcome to another video. This video is going to be kind of I do have a coding playlist, so I'll probably put that there. So if anyone's looked at my personal channel, it's quite obvious that I'm a musician of some kind. My first career ambition was to be a professional musician. I went to music school for 2 years. Uh, I studied viola performance all throughout my childhood. I was in the youth symphony. I remember getting a 1 star at the Solo and SMA festival for playing the Telemann Concerto. So I played that with my high school orchestra, and I that was enough for me to play in the state honors orchestra for a year. I think I was an alternate, and then somebody dropped, so I was like last chair. But hey, like I was presumably one of the top violists in the state for that year. So that's a pretty big accomplishment, no matter how you get there. Um, but yeah, it didn't pan out. Unfortunately. It didn't pan out, but I volunteer for a local community orchestra now. And one of the things you need to be good at at music, absolutely essential, is a metronome. So I used to use this metronome here, but it's kind of acting up. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with it today, but you know, when it comes to practicing, you got to get on it. You can't waste time practicing. So basically, I forgot about. So basically, I'm not going to use that metronome anymore. And we can see this metronome here. Well, where did I find this metronome? Did I Google for it? If you take a look at the URL, you can see this is the home address. So I'm hosting this metronome via live server extension on VS Code. So here's the live server extension. I'm using the 5 server, the enhanced one. Um, and I'm hosting it here on port 5500. So so this is what we got so far. We've got adjustable beats per minute. In fact, tappable adjustable beats per minute. We've got the ability to subdivide. We've got the ability to change the time signature. We've got the ability to emphasize a click. We've got the ability to adjust the volume, and we've got the ability to select the tone for the regular unemphasized click and the tone for the emphasized one. So this is what we got. Yep, and it's a subdivision in 8. How did I write this? Am I just that good at coding? The answer is embarrassingly no. This is so the latest iteration of ChatGPT can do this. I've been trying to do this with the other versions, but it just hasn't been sophisticated enough. It just hasn't been able to do it. Like it sucked. Like some basic thing like this, it was bad at doing it. So I figured this would be great content is for me to continue refining this because this is the kind of thing where you need a human in the loop because I'm an actual musician. This LLM is not. It can't even recognize or produce simple melodies. So I need to tell it exactly what I need. So this is a really good video for prompt engineering. So let's continue. So I'm going to continue to develop this tool. I'm just going to do it as a video on my YouTube channel, in whatever playlist, prompt engineering playlist, coding playlist, some other playlist that's kind of abandoned, and then and then because I think this will be useful for people to see how I can build a real usable tool that I will use instead of the tool I was using before. And I wish I could show that tool. I probably can. Let me take the link here and try to demo that tool um, because this is the best metronome I've used so far. So let me try to demo that. Okay, so I'm now in incognito mode, and yeah, it seems to be working now. So I could continue using this tool. but uh, but I'd rather not. That pop-up is really annoying. That comes up. It's just annoying. But this is what we got. We've got all that. So yeah, same thing, same features like that. Stress first beat. Yeah. So this is what we got. We've got a timer as well where you can turn the metronome off. So let me take this and we're gonna say okay. So now we're gonna go to the I forget what it's called. It's a so it automatically put me in this view. So now I can chat with it, and then it will edit the code here. So really, so this is the code review mode. Yeah. So perfect. Uh, So yeah, so this is what it said last. I added an accent tone selector so you can choose a distinct sound for emphasis. Okay, good. So say good. Now let's make it more. Let's make it more pleasing to the eye. I have included a screenshot example of the metronome I was previously using. I think this is pretty pleasing. What to the eye? What do you think? This is fairly pleasing to the eye. What do you think? Okay, layout is really slick, bold. Yep. Okay. Um, now let's say so shall we reskin our metronome with a dark theme and adopt a larger BPM display and custom slider uh, buttons next? Or is there another piece of the design you'd like to start with? Um, let's say so. Well, uh, let's do this. Um, act as an expert UI UX designer. Then uh, uh, as a consultant for this project, recommend improvements. So this is straight out of the prompt engineering best practices. You give it a role, you give it an identity, and then you're clear for what you want it to do. So I don't want it to change the code yet. So I've added UI UX annotations throughout the code. Okay, well it did change the code. Grouping controls, enhancing the display, refining. Okay, so all it did was add comments. So now I can go review each of them. Um, and so yep, we're going to apply that one. We're going to apply. So this is just like you would see uh, on the job of coding. Like I am coding with a person basically right now. Just a person that's super uh, a person that's like better than I am in every way. Which what else is new? But it's certainly the gap has never been this far. Wow. Okay, so now it's going and making all those edits. It's also doing best practices for development. It's like leaving. I think it's doing change. It's doing version control. I think. Oh, look, you can preview it right. Wow. Okay, you can preview it right there. You don't even have to. Um. Wow. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, how do I get back to the, okay, this is canvas. Got it. This is canvas mode. So there we go. Uh, okay, this is canvas mode. So it looks like I has to do it again for some reason because I accidentally exited out of canvas mode. But I mean, it was never this good at coding. This is ridiculous. This is way better at coding than it's ever been. Okay, so I've reskinned everything of perfect good work. So okay, so let me know how this feels, or if you'd like any further tweaks, such as adjusting color spacing or typography. So let's take it for a spin and then let it know. So let's just paste over what I got here. And there is that live view, but I'm not sure if I'll be using it in that view. I don't know. I'm just going to use it here for now. So Control R refreshes everything, including the cookies. And so something went wrong here. It refused to connect. Um, so okay, I'm not sure why that happened. The code no longer works. Can you debug it and get it back to a working state? The code no longer works. Can you debug it and get it back to a working state? For some reason, my, yeah, yeah, so there is some version control here. Okay, so it's starting to break down. But the thing is, like, just getting to that state before was pretty awesome. The other thing I want to build, and this is something that I've never seen in a metronome before. So there's something called tempo modulation. Let's look up what that. Let's look up that word. So tempo modulation. So, so it's a musical technique where the tempo, speed of the music changes, often in conjunction with the change in time signature or meter. So something like a retardando or a so uh oh, maybe it's a little different. Let's have a brief conversation with the AI about this. What is tempo modulation in music?
Tempo modulation is a technique where the tempo changes within a piece of music, but it does so in a way that maintains a sense of rhythmic continuity. Essentially, it means shifting from one tempo to another using a specific rhythmic value as a bridge. For example, a quarter note in one tempo might become a dotted quarter note in the new tempo. This method creates a smooth transition and keeps the flow of the music intact.
Now, is that would that be how would that be expressed in standard Western notation? Would you use something like a accelerando or retardando to express tempo modulation, or would it be different?
For tempo modulation, it's usually expressed through note values and tempo markings, rather than terms like accelerando or retardando. For example, you might see a marking indicating that a quarter note in the previous tempo equals a dotted eighth note in the new tempo. These notations are often accompanied by metronome markings to clarify the exact speeds.
Okay, so would it be fair to say that a tempo modulation is a more sudden change in tempo, whereas a change in tempo due to a marking like retardando or accelerando would be a more gradual change in tempo?
Exactly. Tempo modulation typically results in an immediate switch from one tempo to another, often using specific rhythmic values as a bridge. On the other hand, markings like retardando or accelerando indicate a gradual slowing down or speeding up.
Perfect. Okay, so what would you call so if we have the term tempo modulation to describe a tempo that suddenly changes, what term would we have for these gradual changes in tempos that would be indicated by something like an accelerando or a retardando?
Those gradual changes in tempo are typically referred to as tempo changes or tempo alterations. The specific terms accelerando and retardando indicate the direction, speeding up or slowing down. Collectively, these are often called gradual tempo changes.
Okay, so we can call it a gradual tempo change, and then we have that distinction between that and a tempo modulation.
Exactly. So tempo modulation for sudden shifts and gradual tempo changes for more smooth transitions. That distinction helps in understanding and interpreting music more precisely.
All right, and there you have it. That's what's missing from most metronomes. It's really hard to practice gradual tempo changes. Um, and it's hard to practice tempo modulations as well because you have to stop playing, change the metronome to your new rhythm, and then start playing again. So both of those things are very difficult to practice. Um, I would say gradual tempo changes are the most difficult. I've seen one metronome in my life that does gradual tempo changes, and it was very rare. Um, so we want to add those two features to it as well because I want this metronome not only to be as good as the other metronomes, I want them to be better. Okay, so let's say great. Now make those changes in Canvas. I don't think it knows what Canvas is. Yeah, so it's probably starting a new Canvas session. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't know. Uh, well, what is this thing called? Let's just revert to the previous version. Restore this version, copy it, paste it in. It should be back now. I think that prior version was working. Nope. Let's go back one more. Oh, it never closes the comment. It doesn't close the comment. The hell? Yeah, it doesn't close the comment. See how we get this so see how it has this suggestion down here? Oh. Oh, never mind. That's a GitHub Copilot suggestion. Okay, got it. I just want to go back to where it was working. Oh, I'm not live. Okay, I accidentally canceled the live. That makes sense. Okay. Whoops. Okay. Just give me. Oh, and now my keyboard stopped working. What a disaster. Um, yeah, I have to come up with a better input system in order to do serious coding. I can't work with this. Okay, just give me the current code we have so far. Yeah, I can't deal with this. I can't do serious coding if I'm constrained by the input I type not being sent to the computer. Okay, well, it's just going to give it to me here. It's not going to open that special canvas thing anymore. But I can put it in canvas myself. Or I thought I could. I guess I can't. No, I can't. All right, whatever. Okay, so now I got to click to go live. There we go. Okay, now it works. So there we go. We've got the tempo section here. So in beats per minute, we can tap the tempo to set it to whatever we want. Set it to 116. Then we can start the metronome and stop the metronome. Now we've got subdivision and time signature. So subdivision, we can subdivide it by eighths, triplets, or sixteenths. Let's have no subdivision. Let's change the time signature to 3/4. Now we can change the accents, so we can access the first, second, or third beat, which turns out to be the same in the end. Well, actually, this is really good for compound time signatures because if you have seven, for example, like a seven time, or let's say a five time because it's shorter and easier for me to talk about. Um, so you can have it be long short, long short, long short, long short, sorry, short long, short long, short long. So you can have that rhythm, or you can have it be long, short, long, short, long. So you can have those different rhythms if you use odd times. So being able to accent the individual one, now you can accent whether it's short, long, short, long, short, long, or long, short, long, short, or long, short, long, short, long. So now you can do that. So this is really good. I like this. So let's try it with the tick and the click. Three, oh, perfect. I love that. That's really good. And then now we can save a preset as well. So if I'm working on one piece, so I'm working on a Schubert unfinished. So now I can save it, and when I come back and work on it, I can load it in, and then if I'm done, the concert's over, I can clear that out. Isn't that cool? Like this is really good. So let's ask for some more improvements. Um, so the first improvement I need is yeah, I love this. This is so good. This is so much better than what I was using. So, oh yeah, here's the first improvement. So when we do the eighth, and it's subdivided, um, yeah, so it doesn't give us a different tone for the subdivision. So let's ask for that now because that is helpful. So we don't need this anymore. We just need we just need this. Okay. Okay, perfect. Everything is looking really good so far. Now I do want you to change to make some more modifications. Are you ready to make them? I like to just do that because then you kind of yeah, so absolutely I'm ready to make more tweaks. What changes would you like to see next? Like that's a much better state I think to have it in than just, blowing out code that doesn't work. Like I'd rather have it kind of be on the same page and then it helps me to think. Great. So now I want you to add the ability to adjust the volume and the tone of the subdivisions. For example, if it is in 4/4 time and you subdivide to eighths, I want the ability to make the second eighth the part that is added when you select to subdivide to be a different volume and a different tone. There, and I gave it a one-shot prompt, so I gave an example of what I wanted. And the example wasn't like an actual code example. That would probably be a better example, but it's I think it should be fine. Okay, and somehow it's disconnected to this canvas, but that's I think that's okay. Yeah, it's like disconnected from the canvas now. I don't know what I can do about that. Yeah, it's so much better at coding now. Like I've tried all this with the other ones, and it's just an exercise in frustration. It just can't do it. Like it just couldn't do it. And I think I've tried it with O1 Pro. I think I've tried it with O3 because like, I'm enough of a amateur musician that like I need to use a metronome a lot. So like I keep coming back to this challenge and it keeps not being able to do it for me. Until now, like it is really working well right now. All right, so now it expanded this. Yeah, so now we can choose the subdivision tone and the subdivision volume. So now we're going to subdivide to eighths. Okay, so we're gonna now we've got the accents. So we're gonna make it the bell. Oh, I don't know what happened there. So it's not doing it right. Something broke. Um. Oh no, I see. Because the subdivision tone. Okay, so we'll just add everything to click. There we go. Now we're gonna subdivide. Okay, and then we're going to change the subdivision tone to a tick. Good. And now we'll change the accent tone to a bell and accent the first beat. Okay, and we'll make the let's make the subdivision tone quieter. Okay, and we'll max out the volume of the the regular. Oh, I guess this is as far as the slider bar goes over. Okay, that's fine. Okay, that's all the way down, so we'll go like that. Yeah, I like this. 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and yeah, there we go. And here's the triplet. Love it. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1, 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. Okay, and we can make the subdivision the same as the click. Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So, awesome. Yes, that is pretty good. Now I want you to add more time signatures. I want you to add I want you to add uh odd time. I want you just act as a professional composer and evaluate the time signatures that exist, and then add uh, any time signatures that are missing from your current code. Yeah, I was doing all this in Canvas, but now it's broken. Yeah, but this is already quite useful. This should be able to replace the other one already. Swap in this list and reload. All right, let's do that. So label for time signature. Okay. Well, not quite. Well, I don't think that's the case, right? Because we also have to update the accents and tone section. And this is where that section really matters because you can hear uh, odd time signatures in multiple ways. You can hear it in long short, or you can hear it in short long, or you can hear it if it's like seven, for example, short short long, short long short, all these various combinations. So we also need to update the accents and tone section, don't we? Yeah, right. Yeah, good. Now give me the full code we have so far, ideally using your special coding features. Okay, so now it's going to give me all the code we have so far and we'll evaluate it. And look, we get a visual indicator as well, but we don't need one. I never use one. The visual indicator doesn't change colors. I never use a visual indicator because I'm usually reading the music when I do it. I can't see the visual indicator. Perfect. Okay, good. So let's see what we got now. There we go. So now we've got the grouping pattern. So let's do so 7/8. Oh, this is really cool. Look, now it can automatically choose the grouping pattern. That's really cool. I love that. So this is a really good time signature for odd time as well. I mean, we could do a grouping pattern for this as well. Uh, oh, we have to change the click for the accent tone. So let's give it a bell. Yeah, cool. Isn't that great? This is already better than any metronome I've ever used. Yeah, it's a little bit messy, but it's let's have it can it reorganize can you re Okay, great. Yeah, this is already better than just about any metronome I've ever used. Can you please reorganize some of the sections? So I like how you have them divided into different sections. You have the tempo section, the subdivision and time signature section, the accents and tone section, and the presets. But I would like to see some reorganization. I think because you have the subdivision tone in the subdivision and time signature section. And then you have the bass tone and the accent tone in a different section. So I would like to see the ability to adjust the tones and the volumes all in its own section because then it's just more clear. So can you act as a expert UI UX designer and confer with consultants and do some market research to determine the best way to organize it and reorganize these sections, please? Yeah, there we go. Looks good. Perfect. Okay, and then next we'll try to give it some tempo modulation and some gradual tempo changes features. If I can add that, this is officially the best metronome I've ever used in my life, assuming it keeps time. Okay, perfect. So copy that, test this out. It should be a lot better organized now. Let's take a look. Okay, there we go. So now we've got the tempo, we've got the meter and subdivision. We've got the accent grouping in its own section. We've got tone and levels. So main tone, um, uh, accent tone, main volume. So it looks good so far. Let's see if we can just modify this ourselves. and put that on another line. Okay, so we've got tone and levels. So main tone uh, looks good. Can you put each of these on their own line though, please? Let's just have it do it for us. I think it'll get it right. Looks much better. So now can you for the tone and levels section, can you please put uh, each tone on its own line? Line. See how in the screenshot it can be confusing as to which tone the volume slider belongs to. I want you, please make an edit so that make, please, uh, for this and each section, please remove that please remove that ambiguity. Make it more clear. So please remove. Oh, and my keyboard doesn't work, so I basically can't code. Okay, and make it more clear which belongs to which. I suggest, and my keyboard doesn't work. Okay, there we go. Which belong, and I'm not making typos. Like I'm not making typos. It's just not registering my keystroke. And we can see the keystrokes it does register are delayed. So I can't code if it works this way. I have to buy a new keyboard, and preferably one that plugs in. So I have one here. Okay, I'll try to use this one. Okay, I'm gonna use this other. I can't think if I do it that way. And this has a lot of wacky things on it. There we go. And there we go. Okay. Yeah, I just can't deal with that. So I'm gonna use this other keyboard. Okay, so please remove. Okay, remove that ambiguity and make it more clear which features uh, which is which. I'm not used to typing on this keyboard. Which is which? I suggest simply putting everything on its own line to achieve this. Okay, there we go. So we can copy that and Control F. Oh man, this is a very different keyboard. Control A. Wow, I'm not used to this keyboard at all. There we go. Control S, Control R. Oh, it bricked it. Oh, it's not done yet. I wish it would do it in here. I don't know. I guess I'll just close this because it's not, it doesn't do it in there. Uh, Good. Yeah, this is exactly what we're looking for. Now we can see it's on, everything's on its own. Yeah, so we got main tone, click, accent tone. Uh, cool. Now add a slider bar for the accent tone. Um, and put the slider bars on their own. Excellent. Now add a slider bar for the accent tone that changes the accent tone volume, just like the other tones and levels are. And then put each slider bar so that it's on its own line underneath each tone. Now I said town instead of tone. Hopefully that won't throw it off. Okay. Yeah, isn't this great? Like it's got there. It's got there. It was not able to do any of this before now, before this new release of o4-mini-high. Like it's on the same page for me. It knows it can do it. Before it couldn't do it. It just couldn't do it. This is really cool. Ah man, we got a lot of code so far. Oh, it didn't achieve it. It didn't achieve it. Uh, oops, it looks like, so we'll do a screenshot. We'll say, oops, it looks like it didn't. Odd. What I'm looking for, this is what I'm looking for. Okay, so we're gonna say main tone, uh, click, so main tone, main volume, slider bar. But this is really good. Like, I don't care that it's a little bit sloppy. And it's sloppy because you can pull it up on a phone. Like, I can take this and resize it. Like, like, see, I can resize it. This would look great on a phone. Okay, so we're gonna replace the tone and levels section. Tone and levels card. What does that mean? So accent tone, subdivision tone, and subdivision volume. Okay, yeah, so we gotta replace all this code. Okay, then we gotta uh, tab it out. There you go. That should work. And it's not Python, so you don't have to tab it out. But, I mean, that's better. That's better. I'm okay with that. I don't care. Yeah, this is good. I don't care. That's good. Okay, perfect. So yeah, we've got all kinds of time signatures, wacky time signatures to play with. Anything like more wacky than this, like we probably can just derive from using some other one. Um, yeah, we've got like 13/8. So like 10/8 time, we can just do 4/4 time, 5/4 time, and then we can subdivide it into eighths. And now we got 10/8. And we can make accents. So the thing is, we can't just accent it arbitrarily, but we can. But it should be fine. I don't play any music where, well, I play some where it might help to do that, but it's yeah, we're talking about 80/20 with this metronome. Okay, cool. So yeah, everything's okay. That's much better. Yeah, everything is looking really good so far. When you're ready, I would like to add two more features that are a bit more complicated. Let's work at let's work on each feature one at a time. I'll explain the feature to you, and you can act as a professional software developer consultant, and we can discuss the feature, and then you will write it and produce all of the code we've got so far. Okay, so let's dive in. What's the user flow? Okay, so I want to add a new section, just like we have the tempo, meter, and subdivision and accent grouping section. So I want to add a new section, specific iterations or edge cases. Well, the thing is, here's the name of the section. It's going to be tempo changes. a tempo changes selection. So I want to deal with tempo modulations, which are like sudden tempo changes from one meter to the next. So let's say we have 10 measures in 4/4 at 80 beats per minute. Then we have a tempo modulation. Now we have the music suddenly goes to 3/4 in 100 beats per minute. So I want that feature added to the metronome. And then the second feature, I know I said one at a time, but just for this brainstorming section, I'll tell you both. The second feature will also belong to the tempo changes, but instead of a tempo modulation, like a sudden change in tempo, it'll be a gradual change in tempo, like you would get for a ritardando or a cello rondo sort of marking in Western Standard notation. So for this, you would have, like we had before, a 4/4, a few measures of 4/4 in 80 beats per minute. But now, even whether or not there's a meter change as well, now instead of suddenly going from 80 to 100 in a single measure, now we gradually go over a few measures. So let's say that we're practicing a symphony and we have a ritardando. The ritardando takes two measures. So I want to be able to practice five measures. The first two measures are the regular tempo, which we'll say is 80 beats per minute. The next two measures are the accelerando, which will increase to 100 beats per minute, which would be the last measure. So I want those two measures to gradually uh, accelerando or retardando or whatever the music asks for from 80 to 100. But I want to be able to select how many measures. I want to be able to select the what it starts at and what it stops at. And as far as the rate of change, I'm not sure. Like I'd like you to look into that. Act as a musical expert, a PhD musical expert, and I want you to tell me about rate of changes because I'm pretty sure most rates of changes in music are linear, but I don't know. Let me know if there's different kinds of rates of tempo changes. Okay, so here we go. Defining tempo change entries. I envision a new tempo changes card that lets you build a sequence of change points. Each row might have a start measure. Okay. Yep. Change type, sudden or gradual. New BPM. Perfect. I like this. New meter. Yep. Awesome. Duration for gradual. Yes, I love this. This is really good. I like this. Yes, this is really good. This is exactly what I envisioned for the UA, the UI, the UI. Yeah, let's start with linear. Um, let's start with li Oh, I accidentally gave it gave it before it was due. All right. Well, yeah, we'll go here. And I might want to, so like molto accelerando would be like a lot of accelerando, but I think like that would be linear still. It would just be like molto accelerando would be like from 80 beats to 120 beats, whereas a regular accelerando would be 80 beats to 100 beats, but both would be a linear change. So I'm not sure. Let's do a deep research on that. That would be interesting. Write for me a prompt for your deep research function that is optimized to research tempo changes in music. Specifically, what I want to know is when composers in Western standard notation indicate a tempo change. For example, they might indicate it with a notation like accelerando or retardando, but they might indicate it with other tempo changes as well. So basically, what I want your research to show is for each indication of tempo change, is the intention for the tempo to change linearly? Like, for example, if you're going from 80 beats per minute to 100 beats per minute, for each increment of change, does that change in a linear way where there's even increments of change? Or what I want your research to conclude is there different variations in the rate of change? For example, does some markings indicate an exponential rate of change where the tempo change from 80 beats, the tempo change from 80 beats per minute to 100 beats per minute is such that the first few measures remain slower, but then it suddenly gets faster in a exponential sort of way. And aside from this linear and exponential rate of change, are there other kinds of rate of change that are indicated by tempo markings such as TEMPO? Sorry, there are some typos, but the context should make it clear. I'm not talking about a tempo in any way. I'm talking about music. So TEMPO markings. Hopefully everything makes sense. If it doesn't, let me know. And I want you to act as a PhD researcher yourself. Um, in and I and you are a composition PhD researcher, and you are trying to determine how to indicate tempo changes in your compositions. All right, so let's see what the code's at. Yep, it's done generating. We don't have the stop button down there anymore. Okay, let's see what we got. Cool. So now we've got a new, look at this, new changes. So we got the start measure. Um, so the start measure, we're gonna, so let's start it at measure one. Um, then we've got the type. Let's do a sudden change. Our yeah, we're gonna have it slow down. So the new BPM will be 100. The new meter will be the same, and then this is gonna happen over 10 measures. Oh, and I lost. I can't modify that. Uh, looks like I can't modify the duration. Uh, looks like I can't modify the duration. It's stuck at one measure. Can you add the ability to change that to any number that I want? Everything looks pretty good so far, but I can't change that duration of measures. I need that to be changeable in the same way as like the new beat per minute is changeable. Oh shit, I accidentally stopped it. Oh fuck. My clicking is all messed up. I think my mouse is having issues. Uh, can I regenerate? Oh, here's how you edit in Canvas. Oh, perfect. Oh, now it says FPV drone racing. Oops, and now I hit the back button. Completely ruined everything. Uh, sorry, I accidentally stopped you from generating. You can generate now. All right, so here's the deep research prompt. So yeah, I've got 119 deep researches available until for about a month. That should be good. All right, so let's duplicate this. Start a new tab. Enable deep research function. So so we're going to say investigate tempo change indications in Western Standard nutrition. Uh, 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 as a composition PhD researcher. So deep dive. Okay, objective. Yeah, it looks good. Uh, yeah, good, good. Okay, so we just need to make some edits. I can do that. So okay, so let's do that. So we'll just make these edits. So we need to remove disabled. Uh, then we need to oh, do we have to toggle it? The duration. No, okay, so there we go. Okay, delete or comment out this block entirely. Oh, okay, and then with that gone, uh, in your add change handler. Okay, so add change handler, which is right there. Then add duration. Okay, yeah, yeah. So I don't know how I add it like that. How do I update the add change handler? How do I update the add change handler? Okay, so there we go. So this is an excellent research direction. I'll make sure to model this precisely and get the most relevant resources. Could you please clarify the following historical period range? Should the research include the full span? Let's say full span. to all equally, let's say equally. Okay, what's a priority? Uh, whose would you like? So prioritize classics, things likely to be played by a community orchestra. Oh, and we'll just say prioritize things likely to be played by a community orchestra or in a chamber music group with friends. Okay, score formats. Say both, and then output preference, written report, more modular, code ready models. Code ready would be cool. Would be excellent. It'd be excellent to be able to hear how the changes. It would be if there are in fact rate of change differences in tempo change indications. It would be awesome to be able to hear the differences via some simple code that produces uh, a series of beeps or something that clearly clearly demonstrate how the rates of change differ. All right, so there we go, burning up one of my deep research prompts for that. That is fascinating. Like that is absolutely fascinating. Like how did they like if you speed up or slow down, you're talking about a rate of change. Like there's a lot of different rates of changes. There's a linear rate of change. There's an exponential rate of change. There's even logarithmic rates of change where the rate of change is slow at the beginning, fast in the middle, and then slow at the end. So you can have a exponential rate of change where it is fast at the beginning and slow at the end, or it is slow at the beginning and fast at the end. A linear rate of change where it just evenly changes, or even a logarithmic rate of change, and probably more rates of change than that. So like was it always linear all throughout musical history or like was it like how did the rates of change? I'm interested in knowing that. All right, so find the block that wires up the add change button. Just give me the whole code. I can't figure this out. Just give me the whole code, please. I can't figure this out. Too dumb. I think we're gonna enter a point, definitely in 2027, where we're gonna be like the smartest people in society are going to be the people who just think they're too dumb, because they're gonna continually defer to the AI, and the AI is gonna do it better than the most brilliant than Terry Tao. So like whoever thinks they're the dumbest at math is probably going to use the AI the most, and they're going to be like the best living person at math because they are constantly deferring to the AI. I mean, that depends on how good the AI gets. Like, I feel like Terry Tao is going to be able to outperform the AI for quite a while. But when you think about the Go player and the chess players, I mean, it people cheat against Magnus Carlsen by using like AI chat applications. So like, once it's more general, it's like an actual AGI, you can cheat against like a PhD math researcher and win, even if you're a freaking idiot. Now it's not quite that simple because with this metronome, I am building the best metronome I've ever used in my life. And why can I do that? Can I do that because the AI can write all the code for me? In some sense, yeah. But really, when it comes down to it, the reason I can write the best metronome I've ever used in my life is because I'm a musician that uses a metronome and knows what features are missing from regular metronomes and how to describe those features. So if you're the dumbest person in the world and you're working on math research, and you're using the AI, you will probably beat the smartest person in the world working on math research without using any AI, but you will most certainly not defeat the smartest person in the world working on math research using AI. So it still matters to become an expert and to have high level knowledge, but it matters insofar as you can use the AI tools. So that's what I think is ahead of us in the future. If you're like someone who absolutely will not use the AI. It's just an insult to your expertise or whatever. It's always going to be wrong. It's always going to hallucinate. Like you're very quickly going to underperform, I think. If you're someone who only uses the AI because it gets everything right, the world is great. I don't have to learn anything myself. It all comes from this magical machine. You're going to underperform as well. If you're somebody who does a blend, who reads the textbooks, who does the exercises, and then uses the AI to enhance and optimize their existing knowledge, those are the people that are kind of the winners of the future. And the good news is, you don't have to be like a genius to do that. You just have to be of regular intellect and be willing to put in some hard work to like do Anki cards to like build up your knowledge base, read textbooks, do some real world projects, some exercises. So you don't have to be, the best and brightest to perform at a super high level. You just have to have some basic knowledge so that you can prompt the tool effectively, and you have to be really good with the AI tools. I mean, I feel like that's really good news. There we go. So now we can see this is changeable. We can change the measures. So this is really cool. Yeah, this is really cool now. Oh, and look, all of these are on the same line now. Yeah, so cool. Okay, so yeah, let's have the beat per minute be 100 beats per minute. So we're gonna have it be 100 beats per minute. And let's just start it there. Make sure it's not broken. Okay, that's good. We're gonna have the side signature be 4/4 without a subdivision. We'll have the accent grouping. We're gonna group this one. I wanted to move the. Can you move the tone and levels? I wanted to move the tone and levels underneath the tempo changes. I can probably do that myself. Yeah, I can do that myself. I just gotta switch these around, I think. Yeah, I want the tone and levels to be on top. Okay, and it looks like yeah, it added an extra. There we go. I think it looks better. Yeah, it looks better like this. So now we've got the tempo, self-explanatory. We've got the meter and subdivision, self-explanatory. We've got the accent grouping, um, which is good. Really good. So now if we select like a 7/8, now we've got uh, uh, what? Oh shit. Well, the accent grouping doesn't work anymore. Well, that's too bad. The accent grouping feature was cool. I liked the accent grouping feature. Um, yeah, I like the grouping pattern feature. I like that there were preset grouping patterns. Oh man, that's too bad that that's gone now. Man, that's too bad. That was cool. I like that. All right, well we'll add that later. Um, and you know what? I might have bricked it in my changes. Let's see if I bricked it. So I'm gonna do a control like yeah, like that, and now it should give it back to its original. Yeah. So now the let's see if it works now. Nope. No, I bricked it. I bricked it. All right, let's just take the code as it is, and then let's ask for some changes. Okay, yeah, no, it bricked itself. I didn't brick it. Okay, we'll say everything looks good. I want the tone and levels. Okay, okay, perfect. Everything looks really good so far. We're making a lot of great progress with this. I've got a few changes for you now. I want the tone and levels card to be above the tempo changes card, but below the accent grouping card. Also, it looks like the grouping pattern presets have been erased. Can you add more selectable presets to that section like it was before? It looks like that broke. It's especially important for like the 7/8 because then you can it's like how you had it before. You had like 2+3 preset, a 3+2 preset. That was for the 5/8. So like can you add those presets based on common accent groupings of odd times? All right, let's see if this is better. It needs a lot of time to finish. This is really cool. I know I'm not practicing. I'm using this, but like, man, like this is everything I needed in a metronome and more. Wow, this is so cool. Okay, cool. It changed the tone and levels up. Actually, I kind of want the tone and levels above the accent grouping. But let's see if it gives me accent grouping now. Oh, perfect. Yeah, okay. This works now. Love it. What about for nine? It doesn't have any for nine. That's okay. It only does it for the odd times. That's okay. It doesn't have 12/8 either, but you can just give it 16/8 and then subdivide into eighths. Cool. This is really cool. And then you can save the preset. Wow. This is so cool. All right, let's try the tempo change now. So let's have it be in 6/8. And then we're gonna have the accent tone is gonna be a click. The main tone is gonna be a bell. Ah shit, now the clicks stop working. Oh no. It stopped working now. The tempos work. Or the volumes work. Yeah, the volumes work. Man, it doesn't all work. Yeah, it doesn't actually change the tones anymore. Well, anyways, let's test the modulation feature, tempo changes feature. So let's have it slow down to 100 beats per minute. Let's have it be a sudden change. And then we'll so duration we can only have it let's have it be a gradual change. We're gonna start the change on measure 5, and then we're gonna have the change occur across 5 measures. All right, doesn't work. Let's make it more obvious. So let's start it at 200. Um, we're gonna have we're not gonna have a subdivision. We're gonna accent so we're gonna change the accent tone to a tick. Um, then then we're gonna have yep, the same change, but we're gonna have the change go down to 100. So this should be more obvious. Okay. Oh, it's working. Oh, that is cool. It's working. Wow. So now you can practice tempo changes in your wow. That is really cool. All right, well, I'm happy with it. I'm sure it's buggy as all hell, but like, I'll work on it. But wow, that's really cool. You can practice tempo changes. Okay. Well, I'm happy with it. I mean, I feel like I'm done. Like, what more could I possibly want? Like, this is the perfect metronome. It does everything I could possibly want. So I'm done. Yeah. So it has the temp. It has everything. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's see if that sounds the same as this one for 100 beats per minute, because it could be getting things wrong. Like it's maybe that's not actually 100 beats per minute. Bum 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 bum. Okay, so I'll do the tap feature along to that. Bum 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 bum. Yeah, okay, it's got it right. Cool. Yeah. Wow. Cool. Let's do the tick for this and then the click for that. This is so like my mind. It was not able to do this before the 4.0 before the 0 4 release. Yeah, it used to have it used to be 4.0, but now it's o4. Like very confusing naming. Um, but wow. Okay, I think that's going to be the end of like I'm happy with this. It's time to go practice. Like what else? What more do I possibly want? Yeah, we can have a grouping pattern. Cool. Accent grouping. Wow. This is really, really cool. Wow. This is the coolest feature. So let's have it right away. Uh, well, let's do a sudden change at measure 10. We're going to do a sudden change from 100 to 200. And we're going to have, and it's going to change to 3, 4. Um, so we're going to add that change and see what happens. 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, well, I made it too long. 10 is a lot of time to wait. So was this 6 or 7? It should happen fairly soon, but I will not give it 10 measures next time. Oh, well, look! Wow! Now you can't really. The accent group. Oh, look! It changed it automatically up here. Okay. So unfortunately, you can't have the grouping pattern because you can't modify it in real time. Oh, you can. Oh, that's cool. You can modify it in real time, but like if you're playing, like you're not going to be able to do that unless you're like counting a series of rests as part of your practicing. Man, that is cool. Okay. So yeah, I think this is everything I want and more. I'm sure it's buggy as all hell. But I mean, we verified the tempo. It was 100 beats per minute. We verified some of these other things, and they all seem to be, at some level of working. Perhaps not perfect, but uh, definitely more than good enough. Like, holy crap! Like, this is a game changer for me. I can now practice tempo changes. I've got so many more features. We can add more subdivisions as well. Um, yeah, let's see what subdivisions they have on here. Like, I basically, all the paid features for this, I just got for free. And not only did I get for free the paid features in this app, I have more features now that this app doesn't have, even if you pay for them. So, like, that's crazy. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's paid features on this. So, tools, online metronome. Uh, I don't know, and it gives me the French page now for whatever reason. So, wow, that is, I can't believe how cool this is. And a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 5E and something about that click is a little bit. Let's try it with a bell. Oh, that's the accent tone. We need to change the subdivision tone. 1E and a 2E and there's something really weird about this. Okay, it's just different tones that I'm used to. I feel like the tones are leave a little bit to be desired because if we listen to the subdivision on here, and it might just be what I'm used to hearing. But if we listen to the subdivision here to 16ths, so we'll do the same thing that we have set up there, 100 beats per minute with the oh, and now it's just doing things without my input, which is not good. So refresh it, and there we go. So yeah, so if you do all the same settings here, 4/4 time, stressing the first beat with the subdivision. Yeah, I like the. See how much better that sounds? And it's because the yeah. Yeah, there's something about the sound. Yeah, there's something about the sound that's a lot better. Okay, so yeah, so I'm noticing something else. There's something about the tones of this metronome that are like they're like not as good as an actual metronome. It's a little bit hard for me to describe it. So maybe you can act as a university PhD music professor and have a little bit of a conversation with me before making any code changes. But it sounds like the tones of this metronome are a little bit more ambiguous, a little bit less precise, and then a little bit like more like less clear. It's it's like the word like if you say the word ticky tacky tack, you're making a lot of like really clear sounds. But if you're saying like the word oblong, I feel like saying the word oblong in like a very rhythmical way is a lot more difficult than saying the word tic tac because you have like that strong T sound and it's like very clear tic tac like you can make the rhythm very clear. Whereas if you try to make the same rhythm saying the word oblong, oblong, it's a lot. It's so much harder to represent a rhythm. So like in music, the people would use rhythms like ta ta da da. They usually don't say like oh, because it's not as clear as a tone. So does that make sense? Can you understand like how I would want the tones to change in this metronome to make it better? Yeah, so the clarity of the click is more than just the loudness or pitch. It's about the attack transient or spectral content and the envelope of sound. In music cognition, we find that percussive sounds with very sharp onset and quick decay, and with strong high frequency components, produce much crisper and more ambiguous temporal markers than, say, a simple sine wave or triangle tone. You got it exactly. You got it. That's exactly right. Okay, great. Now make the code modifications and give back to me the full code we have so far. Oops, so it's not working. Yeah, it's frozen. You got it exactly. That's perfect. Okay, now review the code, correct any errors or do any debugging if necessary. Change those tones so that they're better for in the context of a metronome. I'd also like you to put the tone and levels card above the accent grouping card if you can. I just think that's more important to have. Well, actually, never mind. I like where the tone and levels are. That's fine. Yeah, so we'll just get rid of this part. So you got it exactly. That's oops. Okay, now this is stuck up and won't go away. Okay, so you got it exactly. That's perfect. Okay, now review the code, correct any errors or do any debugging if necessary. Change those tones so that they're better in the context of a metronome. Uh, When you are done, give me back the full code. Perfect. Love it. Wow, this is really good. Oh, and I forgot to put I continually do this. Forget to put the manual back in the beta FPV drone case. It's very easy to do. The manual is perhaps the most important component. Oh, currently there's no envelope station. The gain hits full immediately, then stops at a fixed time. Yeah, so okay, perfect. This should make it a lot better. Yeah, and this is what I mean. It's like the more expertise you have, the better you'll be able to prompt the AI. So the winners of the future are going to have a mix of a high level of expertise and a high level of being able to use the AI. The losers are going to be the top level experts that just don't use the AI for whatever reason, and the dumb people that don't know their A from a hole in the ground and can't do anything. But really, I think what would happen is the people who aren't so smart, like people who are average or even a little bit below average, uh, can be raised up because you see, like a lot of what I'm saying to do this is like, oh, like if you can, like it'd be great if you could, and like describing the changes I want to the metronome. Like I'm not saying technical terms. I'm not saying something based on being a even a bachelor's degree, having a bachelor's degree in music. I'm just kind of riffing on what's the top of my head. So like even if you're not particularly intellectually a standout, like as long as you're able to give it like a coherent thought and like interact with it in a coherent way, which somebody who's below average, even far below average, can certainly do that. Like I think it's going to raise up a lot of people. As long as you can be like, how many fingers am I holding up? Oh, you're holding up three fingers, and have even that simple of an exchange. I feel like you could do something meaningful. Okay, so we've got our changes here. So yeah, let's hear how it's different. So let's see how these are. So there's still tick, bell, tick, click, and bell. So let's hear how. Oh, I like how it automatically sets this half so that you hear the subdivisions. But let's hear how it's different. Okay, interesting. And you can change all this on the fly. Okay, let's hear it in sixteenths. Oh, now it's like broken. I liked it better before. Oh, well, it's accenting. Okay, so the accent tone is a click. This is good. Yeah, if you give it two clicks, or if you give it a click and a, so the accent tone click is accentuated a little bit different than the subdivision tone click. Cool. Yeah, I think it's okay. I don't know if it's better or not, but it's good enough to play around with. Um, I am curious why does it not have any does it not have any traditional metronome sounds? Okay, yeah, it's pretty good. It's in a good state to explore and play around with now for sure. So I'll use it for a while. I'll get back to you and let you know. I'm just curious, do you not have any traditional like wood block sort of metronome sounds? Metronome sounds available? Uh, so we're currently using pure JS oscillators shaped with a fast envelope and high pass filter, which gives a bright ticky tock clip, but isn't really a wood block. We have two ways to add traditional wood block sound. Okay, so I could give it samples. You provide or I link to. We load it via fetch and play it on each tink. Synthesize approximation. Instruct block. Let's experiment with both. Let's experiment with both. Let's start with the synthesized approximation, and then after that, I will ask you for the sample based, and I want you to link to the clicks. I want you to make a determination about which is the best, and then load it in. Uh, and then let's see if both of those are good. If none of those are good, I can potentially provide you with samples. But let's start with the synthesized approximation approach. Yeah, I think this is going to be better. This is so cool. It never used to be this sophisticated. Look at all these features we got in the metronome. Like it never used to be this good. All right, let's read the research paper. So tempo transition markings, notation, interpretation, and modeling. So notation catalog of tempo change markings. So we've got gradual slowings, the slow down. So we've got retardandi and rallentandi. Uh, so these are various forms of those. So these Italian terms instruct performers to gradually decrease the tempo. Common markings include retardando, abbreviated. So you see it in the sheet music as retard. We pronounce it retard usually, or RIT. And then you also have a rallentando, shown as roll. Both mean slowing down gradually. They are often used as synonyms just based on what the composer decides to use, although some composers and theorists attach subtle nuances. Related markings are lento, so lento means slow, but lentando, gradually slowing and softer. Calando, slowing down and typically also softer. Slargando and alargando, broadening out. For example, becoming slower and even fuller in tone, usually towards cadence or climax. The other thing you see quite a bit in music is there's composers that aren't Italian and they just don't use Italian terms. So they just in whatever language, like French, Spanish, they just write it in their own language. And I think you see that a lot today. Composers will write in English because, saying slow down in the United States to a performer um, probably makes more sense than saying rallentando. Although most musicians will know what that means. But if you're trying to do something really specific, like, slow down in a logarithmic rate of change. Like you would not write that in Italian nowadays. It makes no sense to do that. So when a slight immediate reduction of tempo is intended rather than a gradual retard, users use yeah, immediately held back. Okay, cool. So gradual speed ups probably similar. Don't need to read that. Yeah, when a sudden jump rather than gradual, they write terms like pure miso, more movement, rather than accelerando. So there's a difference between gradual tempo change and a sudden tempo modulation. So there's different terms for that. Pure moso would be more of a tempo modulation. Then we got tempo resets and holds. Yep. So a tempo, see that quite a bit to the original tempo. Tempo one, yep. So like stuff like that. Combined tempo dynamic effects. Yeah, oftentimes they if you want to go faster, you also want to go louder, but that's going to be indicated because that's not always the case. Okay, cool. So to summarize, here's the major tempo transmission markings. So these are the ones you're going to see if you're in a community orchestra. You're going to see accelerandos, you see retards and rits, you're going to see rallentandos. You also see you'll see something like this. Oh, you'll see stringendo for sure a lot. Yeah, I've seen all of those for sure. Recently, rubato, I've seen that one a lot. But these are more like yeah, yeah. You'll see that in like solo playing quite a bit. Piomoso I've seen recently. A tempo you'll see all the time. So this is good. Yeah, so the list is comprehensive from Baroque to contemporary. Good. So intent and historical usage. What did composers mean? Okay, so tempo change markings, especially Retardando and Accelerando rarely come with an exact algorithm on the page. The intent behind them must be gleaned from historical practice, composers' writings, and context. Here we serve, and I bet you a lot of these composers back then didn't even know what a rate of change was. Like, they didn't even know that you could change in a logarithmic, exponential, or I mean, the exponential change is going to be logarithmic, but like, I hope that makes sense what I mean, or a linear rate of change. Like they didn't even know that. Like calculus existed back then, I think, but like, or did it even? Sir Isaac Newton. That's fascinating. Let's talk about that. So tell me when Sir Isaac Newton died, and then tell me when Mozart was born.
Sir Isaac Newton died on March 20th, 1727. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart was born on January 27th, 1756.
Okay, so tell me who was older, Mozart or the other guy?
Newton was older than Mozart. Newton lived in the 17th and early 18th centuries, while Mozart was born after Newton had passed away.
Okay, so tell me the likelihood that Mozart would have known about Newton's work and would have understand any sort of calculus concepts such as the rate of change.
It's likely Mozart would have been aware of Newton's scientific contributions, as Newton's work was well known among educated Europeans in the 18th century. Mozart might not have had a deep understanding of calculus, as his focus was primarily on music.
Yeah.
However,
Oh, keep going. Sorry, I interrupted you.
no worries. So, while Mozart probably didn't engage deeply with calculus, he would have been exposed to Enlightenment ideas circulating in his era, which included Newtonian physics. Music and mathematics do have some overlap, particularly in terms of patterns and structures.
How many years after Newton died was Mozart born?
Mozart was born 29 years after Newton's death.
Okay, so did Newton so if let's say that these wealthy people back then like Mozart and the king he's working for, let's say they did study Newton's work, would they have understood things like different kinds of rates of change, such as like a linear rate of change or a logarithmic rate of change or a exponential rate of change?
It's possible that some well educated individuals in Mozart's time would have had a grasp of those concepts. The Enlightenment era emphasized scientific knowledge and education. So, those with access to higher education or involved in intellectual circles might have understood basic mathematical ideas. While not everyone would have been versed in calculus, educated individuals like Mozart's main patrons could have had some familiarity with these ideas, especially if they were interested in science or philosophy.
Were there any indications that Mozart was inspired by the work of Newton to to include some of his work in some creative way into his music?
There's no direct evidence that Mozart was specifically inspired by Newton's work in his music. However, the Enlightenment period, which emphasized reason and science, influenced many artists of the time. Mozart's music reflects the clarity and balance valued during the Enlightenment, but there isn't a known direct connection to Newton's theories.
All right, well, let's think more broadly. What about any composer during that time? Was any composer inspired by any scientist or mathematician?
Yes, composers during that time were often inspired by scientific and philosophical ideas. For example, Johann Sebastian Bach was influenced by the mathematical precision and order found in nature, which is reflected in his use of counterpoint and fugue. The Enlightenment emphasis on reason and natural laws also resonated with composers, who incorporated these principles into their music's structure and form.
No, that's not what I mean. I mean, let's say that there's a scientist named Steve. Scientist Steve discovered some crazy novel theory. Let's say, like, they didn't know anything about calculus. So, scientist Steve discovered rates of change. He discovered that there are linear, exponential, and logarithmic rates of change. So, now let's say that musician and composer Bill met scientist Steve and was inspired by his rates of change. So, so the composer Bill wrote music that experimented with tempo changes that were at different rates of change because he was inspired by the work of the scientist. Did that sort of dynamic ever happen back ever happen at all in music? Can you even think of a modern day where that happens? Like, did anyone try to write quantum music?
That's an interesting idea. Historically, composers have been inspired by scientific advancements, though maybe not as literally as in your example. For instance, composers like Yanis Xenakis used mathematical concepts and computer algorithms to create music. In modern times, there's quantum music, where composers draw inspiration from quantum mechanics principles. These pieces often explore uncertainty, superposition, and other quantum ideas through sound. So, while not exactly like your scenario, there is a rich history of music influenced by science.
How do you spell Giannis Xenakis? Oh, it's Zouganelis, right?
Close. It's spelled Iannis for the first name, and Xenakis for the last name.
Oh, could you spell that again, please?
Sure, it's Iannis for the first name, and Xenakis for the last name.
Okay, perfect, perfect. So who are some, can you name some quantum musicians?
Certainly, a few musicians and composers explore quantum concepts in their work. For example, Marcus Schmickler, a German electronic composer, delves into quantum theory through his compositions. Another is Pauline Oliveros, who incorporated scientific ideas, including quantum theory, into her deep listening practice. These artists use sound to explore complex scientific ideas creatively.
All right, how do you spell the first guy's name?
It's Marcus Schmickler, Markus for Marcus, Schmickler for Schmickler.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll look into this. It sounds quite interesting. I am especially interested in because it looks like Giannis, the he Greek? I don't know, but it looks like he has some sheet music associated with his some sheet music. Like I'm interested in music that is written down because I really believe in the power of writing things down.
That's great. Xenakis was indeed Greek, and his work often combines complex mathematical structures with musical notation. Exploring his scores might offer some unique insights into how he translated scientific concepts into music.
Oh my God, this is hilarious. There's a comment that says, "Imagine listening to this voluntarily. Poor players having to torture their instruments to make sounds no one wants to hear."
That kind of reaction is pretty common with avant garde music. It definitely challenges traditional notions of what music should be, which can be a fun or perplexing experience depending on your perspective.
Cool. All right. Well, that was quite interesting.
Glad you found it interesting. Exploring these unique musical ideas can really broaden your appreciation for different forms of expression.
All right. So let's get back to the research paper now. Um, yeah. So here we go. So, accelerando versus stringendo. I've also wondered why there were different terms for that, but it's because there's subtle differences. Accelerando is a broad term for getting faster. Stringendo means, oh yeah, I knew that. So tightening. So it's you get faster while at the same time creating more tension. So it's like, let's say that it's like a heartbeat rising because you were spooked by a ghost. That would be a stringendo. Whereas an Accelerando would be like, I'm running faster to try to win a race. So like Stringendo has an implication of an emotional change. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so tempo transitions can be thought of mathematically. Does the tempo reduce at a steady rate, linear, or perhaps start slow and intensify, exponential, or vice versa, logarithmic, or even follow an S-shaped okay, sigmoid. I think I meant to say sigmoid when I was saying logarithmic. Um, all composers, yeah, logarithmic would be like that rather than like that, I think. I don't know. While composers did not explicitly write formulas in the score, the language and context often imply certain shapes. So a linear retardando, okay, exponential and logarithmic, uh, okay. Are these choices encoded by markings? So retardando by itself gives no precise curve, but context matters. Okay. Yeah, there's so composers will sometimes add words like poco a poco, little by little snowing, which implies You should spread the that it's much more linear. Interesting. Music researchers that study how real performers execute these changes. Interestingly, studies show that performers tend to follow certain natural laws of motion. Yeah, well, of course, when changing tempo, one theory is that they subconsciously mimic physical deceleration and acceleration patterns, like a runner slow. Okay, wow, that's interesting. Accelerates, so it's not going to be linear. Uh, wow, okay. I mean, that makes sense. Like, I feel like you just have to do that because you're doing something physical when you do that. On the other hand, ball rolling down a hill, starting gradually. Okay, so that would be more logarithmic. Perception. Oh yeah, perception of time isn't linear. Linear change might not feel linear. Wow, okay. That is interesting. All right, so key takeaway so far is they're kind of neither linear nor they're not like they depend on the physical ability to make the change. So, oh yeah, let's see. Oh, cool. Let's hear this. Oh yeah, cool. We've got some code to hear how they change. Oh, this is really cool. Oh, this is so cool. Okay, so let's add a new file, Python file. Paste this in there, and now we can play each model. So let's uncomment the linear model. Okay, and play that. Uh, no such file or directory. Oh, we have to save it. We have to save it. We'll just save it here. Okay. No module named NumPy. Let's do UV because everyone's so crazy about UV. UV Python Metronome, and I don't have UV. All right, well, I don't care. Oh, this is Windows, so scripts activate. Oh, and it's not going to be source. It's just going to be, here we go. Or, oh, it's unauthorized. Shit. Can I do that? Okay. How do I? Let's get help from the. Let's put this song on while we're doing this. It's gonna suck. This is gonna sound very bad. It sounds like the what's the the movie sound test thing? Yeah, the Dolby. It's like movie theater, the theater surround sound test. Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's like old school. We have to go to the now we have to go to the AI for this. Okay, so way back in like the 90s, they used to, when you went to the movie theater, they used to do this like rising tone that like rose in like volume and it rose in pitch. And they would do that like before every movie you would see in the 90s to like show like how powerful their sound system was. What was the name of that test? How can I find that on YouTube?
You're thinking of the THX deep note. It's that iconic sound that starts low and gradually builds up, both in pitch and volume. You can definitely find it on YouTube by searching THX deep note. It's a classic from movie theaters back in the day.
All right, this is it. Yeah, this sounds like it. This is it, yeah. Yeah, this sounds very similar to this. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, that's it. That sounds very similar to this. Oh man, this music is making me very nervous. I do not like this. Oh god, it's getting worse. Oh, I can't take this. This is just bad. Can they make any music that sounds like this that sounds like beautiful and not like playing on your anxious mind? Oh shit. That sounds like straight out of a horror movie. Do not like that. I don't like scary things at all. Okay. What? I thought I had it. Did I not install it? Simple audio. Oh, oh shoot. Well, anyway, this is kind of a waste of time. This doesn't matter. It would be nice to hear the difference, but so expressive timing score. Yeah, this is an interesting research paper. In essence, leads much of the tempo between the lines. Combination of musical content. Okay. Markings. Okay. Speaking now. The other thing that's interesting is okay, great. Good job doing this research.
Thanks, Graham. I'm glad you found it helpful. If you need anything else or want to dive deeper into any specific part of the findings, just let me know.
Now, I have a question for you. So let's say that you are in an orchestra and you are watching an orchestra conduct. So that is going to be communicated with the speed of light. You're going to be watching the light reflect off the conductor, and you're going to be playing the music once that light signal hits your eye and is interpreted into playing. So there's going to be some inherent delay in that, but it's going to be so negligible that it's impossible to detect. Does this sound right to you?
Yeah, that's accurate. The delay from seeing the conductor's movements to playing is extremely minimal. Light travels so fast that the time it takes for the visual cue to reach your eyes is essentially instantaneous. The real latency comes from how quickly your brain processes the cue and translates it into a physical action. But for a trained musician, that response is very quick, so it doesn't noticeably affect performance.
Okay, now let's say that there are two musicians in separate rooms. They can't see or hear each other, but both musicians are using a metronome that is synced up to some and the metronomes are in sync some way somehow. Now, when the musicians use their sense of hearing, which presumably happens at the same rate, to play this metronome, now they're playing in time with each other, even though they can't hear or see each other, and they're just responding to the metronome. Is that quantum entanglement in any way, or am I just completely thinking about that concept totally wrong?
You're on the right track with the synchronization concept, but it's not quantum entanglement. Quantum entanglement is a phenomenon in physics where particles are interconnected such that the state of one instantly influences the other no matter the distance. In your scenario, the musicians are synchronized through the metronome, which relies on classical synchronization methods like electronic signals or radio waves. Each musician independently follows the same source, so their alignment is due to precise timing, not the instantaneous distance-defying connection of entanglement. It's all about accurate clocks rather than quantum physics.
All right. Well, what would it look like if it was entanglement and they were playing together because they were entangled?
If quantum entanglement were involved, it would mean that some property of the musicians or their instruments was intrinsically linked, such that a change in one immediately affected the other, regardless of distance. For music, this is purely hypothetical and not how entanglement works, especially on a macroscopic scale. In reality, even with entanglement, we can't use it to transmit information or coordinate actions like playing music. So, it's a fascinating thought experiment, but not applicable to practical scenarios.
Yeah, because nothing really happens regardless of distance when it comes to music, right?
Exactly. Music performance relies on physical signals and human coordination, which aren't influenced by the principles of quantum entanglement. Even with advanced technology, musicians depend on timing, cues, and synchronization methods grounded in classical physics. So while entanglement is intriguing, it's not part of the equation for musical coordination.
So like what is like how do we know entanglement exists? Like where have we seen like hypothetically like what could be entanglement? Like it would have to be independent of distance, right? Is there anything like that in our physical world that where if you affect one thing it affects the other independent of distance?
Entanglement is a real phenomenon observed in quantum mechanics. It's been demonstrated in experiments where particles, like photons or electrons, become entangled. When the state of one particle changes, the other state changes instantaneously, regardless of distance. This has been tested in labs through experiments like the Bell test, confirming that entangled particles exhibit correlations that can't be explained by classical physics. In our everyday macroscopic world, we don't observe this because entanglement effects are incredibly delicate and easily disrupted. So, while it's fascinating, entanglement doesn't have direct applications in the macroscopic physical world we interact with daily.
Yeah, that idea of a change occurring to one thing synchronously as it occurs to another, regardless of distance. I think the key there is regardless of distance. Yeah, I can't think of anything like that in our physical world that happens that way. Like I could think of like, oh, you're going to shine a light on one thing, and then the other thing shines up too, but it has to be within the how the where the light is casted. So it depends on the distance. Like I can't think of anything that changes instantaneously along with something else, even if it was just applied on one of the things and not the other, and no matter the distance between the two objects.
Right, that's the unique and intriguing nature of quantum entanglement. It defies our everyday experiences with cause and effect across distances. In the macroscopic world, everything is bound by classical physics, where changes propagate at finite speeds, like light or sound waves. So, while entanglement is a fascinating quantum phenomenon, it's not something we observe or experience in our everyday large scale interactions.
But we've observed it in scientific observations in labs, though, right? So there are things that are visibly entangled, but they're like things at the quantum level.
Exactly. Scientists have observed entanglement in controlled lab settings with particles like photons, electrons, and atoms. These experiments show that when entangled, the properties of these particles are linked, and a change in one instantly affects the other, no matter the distance. This phenomenon has been tested and confirmed through various experiments, such as those involving Bell's inequalities. But as you said, it's all at the quantum level and doesn't translate to our macroscopic experiences.
Why not?
The primary reason is decoherence. At the
Yeah.
macroscopic level, particles constantly interact with their environment, air molecules, photons, thermal vibrations, which disrupts entanglement. Quantum effects are delicate, and even tiny interactions can cause entangled states to collapse. This makes maintaining entanglement in larger, more complex systems extremely difficult. So while entanglement is a fascinating quantum phenomenon, it doesn't manifest in our everyday scale because of the overwhelming interactions with the environment.
Can something at a quantum level affect something at the level of our everyday scale? Like let's say that like an entangled part like just like a an electron because I can imagine like an electron photon or especially an atom. With an atom it's really easy to imagine. Like imagine like you get shot in the chest with a bullet, the chest, is millimeters away from your heart and you survive. But if that bullet were hit your heart just by being a few millimeters over, now you would die. So like I could imagine there being some sort of atom in a human body that's like the atom that's keeping you alive, and if anything happens to that atom, you instantly die because this one atom was like the keystone atom that's keeping you alive. So like I could imagine that being the case. Do you think that would be the case?
In biological systems, no single atom is solely responsible for life or death. Biological functions are the result of complex interactions among trillions of atoms and molecules. Even though certain atoms, like those in DNA, are crucial, their functions aren't singularly pivotal to life in the way a keystone is in an arch. At the quantum level, entanglement effects are significant for small particles but don't translate directly to macroscopic systems like the human body. Life and consciousness emerge from vast, interconnected networks of biochemical processes, not from the state of a single atom. So, while it's fascinating to consider, our macroscopic world doesn't operate with single atom dependencies.
Yeah, like yeah, I know, but the point of what I'm saying is like yeah, you could say that for like the organs in the body. Like human life doesn't depend on a singular organ. Like just because you have a heart that's beating and working, you still need to have a brain, you still need to have lungs. But at the same time, if your heart goes wrong, like you're dead. So like that's what I'm saying is like your life doesn't depend on a singular atom, but I could see like, just as a singular organ in your body ending your life, like if your heart stops working, like I could imagine a scenario where a singular atom in your body ends your life, such as whatever atom is critical to the process of your heart working.
I see what you mean. While individual organs are indeed vital, the scenario with a single atom is unlikely because biological systems are highly redundant and robust. The failure of a single atom wouldn't cause a catastrophic failure like the loss of an organ would. Multiple atoms and molecules contribute to each biological process, offering backup and compensatory mechanisms. So, while every component is essential, biological resilience means that no single atom holds such critical sway over our lives.
Yeah, but now we get into that like lot that brain experiment, right? Where let's say that we have a heap of sand, and we pull one grain of sand out of that. At what point is that no longer a heap and it's now a small pile? We keep pulling it out. At what point is it now no longer a small pile, but just a little mixture of sand? And you can think of it the opposite. We keep adding singular ones. At what point does it go from a heap to a large a pile, a heap to a mountain of sand? It's like as you add or remove one particle of sand, is there a singular particle that changes the state of how it's described?
That's a great analogy, often called the Sorites paradox.
Yeah.
It highlights
Oh, sorry, go ahead. Yeah, yeah, the Sorites paradox. I didn't know the name of it, but yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
exactly. The Sorites paradox raises questions about when incremental changes lead to a categorical shift. In biology, the cumulative effect of many small components creates a robust system. No single atom or grain of sand usually defines the whole, but the collective sum matters. It's a reminder of how small changes can lead to significant outcomes, but no single element in isolation typically carries that burden.
So surely there has to be a Sorites paradox when it comes to something like having a heart attack, like atom by atom, as your the things that make up your heart, which they're made up by atoms, right? Everything's made up by atoms. Atom by atom, things are going to function less optimally for your heart to work, and then eventually, one atom at a time, which to us, to any observer, will look like a major system was going wrong, such as your arteries are being clogged. But just as in this Sorites paradox, one atom at a time is becoming less optimized. So I feel like this idea that one atom going awry can kill you is quite a valid idea because if you think of it in terms of Sorites paradox, as the atoms start going wrong, because you're getting, a clog in your arteries, um, that one atom that went wrong now changes you from the state of being alive to being dead, because only now have you had a heart attack.
I see your point. In a sense, it aligns with the idea that small changes accumulate to cause significant effects. However, the Sorites paradox here is more about cumulative damage rather than a single atom tipping the balance. It's the combined effect of many atoms and molecules that leads to conditions like arterial blockage, eventually causing a heart attack. No single atom's change directly shifts the state from alive to dead, but it's the collective impact over time that matters.
Are you sure about that? This doesn't sound right to me.
I get where you're coming from. It's true that in biological systems, a small change can have a large impact, especially in critical processes. While it's not usually down to a single atom, it's the accumulation or sudden failure of many that can lead to significant outcomes, like a heart attack. The Sorites paradox is a useful way to think about how small changes aggregate to create a noticeable difference.
So would you say one grain of sand is a heap of sand?
A single grain of sand wouldn't typically be considered a heap. The term heap implies a collection of many grains. The Sorites paradox challenges
Yeah.
us to
Well,
pinpoint
well,
exact.
well. Hold on a second. So, but what you're saying is no single grain of sand is enough to constitute it from one heap of sand to some other classification. So if we take a heap of sand and we say a heap of sand is equal to 1,000 grains of sand, you're saying that no single removal of sand will change its classification. So one heap of sand, so one grain of sand must be a heap because as we remove grains of sand, we're not changing its classification because there's no single grain of sand that does it. So it never actually the state change never actually occurs.
Exactly, that's the crux of the Sorites paradox. It highlights the challenge of defining a precise point where a quantitative change leads to a qualitative shift. In practical terms, we use approximate definitions based on context, but philosophically, the paradox illustrates how small, incremental changes challenge rigid classifications. In reality, we rely on context and conventions to determine when something transitions from one state to another.
Okay, well that's human subjective experience. I mean that's quite a bit different than like a phenomenon, a natural phenomenon of like a human dying, right? So I feel like in that case, there is a shift when it comes to whether one atom is affected or not, because that triggers the state change.
I get your point. The transition from life to death is a significant and clearly defined event. However, in biological systems, it's the failure of critical functions, often involving many cells and molecules, that leads to such a shift. While a single atom's change isn't usually the tipping point, the cumulative impact of many atoms and molecules can indeed trigger critical changes.
But
So,
but
while the
but 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 now we're back to Sorites paradox because a singular atom change would cause the state change, right? Because that's the paradox, right?
The Sorites paradox illustrates how defining a precise point of transition can be tricky. In complex systems like biology, while each atom's change contributes, it's the collective changes that lead to a significant event like a heart attack. So, while no single atom typically causes a state change on its own, the paradox reminds us that small increments collectively result in noticeable outcomes.
God damn it.
It's a tricky concept. I get it. Paradoxes like this challenge our understanding of gradual versus abrupt change. If you have more specific questions about it, we can break it down further.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm reading on the Wikipedia page, it can be reconstructed for a variety of predicates. For example, tall, rich, old, blue, bald, and so on. So like when you think about it with tall, like a man is tall, right? If his height varies above the average height for a man by a certain amount. but I feel like that amount is quite well defined because it would be via deviations from the norm, right? So if a man is three deviations from the three standard deviations of what that whole thing, I can't remember exactly the language associated with that, but if he's three standard deviations, he's very tall. If he's two, he's tall. If he's one, then he's a little tall. If he's none, then he's of average height. And you can determine what is the difference between one deviation to the next, inch by inch, centimeter by centimeter, millimeter by millimeter. So I feel like for other things, that clearly does exist.
Absolutely. For many traits, we can use statistical measures like standard deviations to define categories. It offers a clearer framework for comparison. Still, the exact threshold where a descriptor shifts can be subjective, especially in more nuanced or qualitative contexts. It's a balance between objective measurements and subjective interpretation, much like many aspects of life.
All right, so that's it for this video. I finished this metronome and then I went down a tangent talking about stuff I know nothing about. Um, so yeah, I'm happy with this metronome. Oh, you know what? I think we were. Oh, I think I was in the middle of something actually. I just got completely distracted. Yeah, yeah. So we're experimenting with. Oh yeah, no, I'm not done. I'm not done. I gotta. Yeah, I was doing the research paper thing, which forget about it. So I'm not done. We're trying to get better sound. So yeah, so this is how it sounds now. So let's make that sound better. Oh, it's a metronome now. That is awesome. It's a metronome now. It is now a metronome. Oh, the accent tone is still click. We can make it. Oh, that doesn't change on the fly. Oh, that didn't work. Uh, oh, the accent tone doesn't work now. Oh, it doesn't change on the fly. Yeah, the accent tone doesn't work anymore. You know what? I'm really happy with this. I think this is good enough. I am noticing that the accent tone doesn't seem to work anymore. Can you look into that? Yeah, it's a metronome now. Cool. What are we at? 3 hours? Almost. I mean, 3 hours? I built this thing in 3 hours. Oh my God. Look, it has tempo changes. It has presets. It has tones and levels. It has accent grouping. It has meters and subdivision. It has odd meters. It has default groupings for odd meters. It has the tap to tempo feature. Like I built this in less than three. I mean, I started the video after I'd already been building it, but I mean, I only started it probably like a few minutes after I started building it, 20 minutes. So yeah, I built this in about 3 hours, way less than 5 hours. Like before, it used to take me 5 hours to write like a simple Python script to like monitor a device for stats. Like that was like a 5 hour project. Like, but to write this whole thing, this took 3 hours. Like, oh my God. And it's doing it. It's not like the other ones where it sucks. Like it doesn't give me anything good. Like this is I'm gonna start using this going forward. Yeah, this Socrates paradox that it got me. Because surely when somebody is living or dead, surely there must be one atom that changes in some way to change their state from living to dead. But I guess not. And but if there were, then I feel like quantum entanglement could kill someone because if that were an entangled atom and the other atom that's entangled to it anywhere in the universe is changed, now someone would instantaneously die. But the probability of them that happening to the person would be like zero because the probability that that atom is the 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 atom that changes their state is basically zero. And then the probability that a singular atom like that is entangled and that its atom changes in a way that changes the probability of the overall state of somebody being alive or dead is basically zero as well. So, man, look at this too. It's like o4-mini-high. Like, I'm thinking right now. Like, I'm really deeply thinking about the Socrates paradox. Like o1 Pro, o3 have never like a little bit. Like I've definitely been thinking about like it got me thinking a little, but like I have the Wikipedia page of the Socrates paradox pulled up right now, and I'm thinking about it deeply. Like the other models have never done that for me to this level. Like we are, this is this I will say it right here, right now, once and for all. We have moved up um, to a new level of AI capability with o4-mini-high. It is far better than the other one, than any of the other iterations. It is far better. Okay, let's see if the accent tone works. Yeah, it works now. Let's see if the subdivision tone works now. Works. Change the main tone to a bell. Wow. That is so cool. The only thing that isn't that could be done is the visual indicator could be better. But the thing is like I don't use the visual indicator. Okay, this is really good now. It's just about perfect. The only thing I think is left is the visual indicator leaves a lot to be desired. It doesn't indicate anything about the rhythm. It doesn't indicate anything. So like it'd be great if you could change the visual indicator so it actually shows like sheet music of the rhythm, like how a percussionist would read it. And then it would have like a scrolling line show it. Um, like you know what I mean? It's like the visual indicator leaves a lot to be desired. Now, I don't typically use the visual indicator, but if you could use something like Music XML or something to like display actual like sheet music of like what this rhythm would look like, that would be really useful to me because then I could basically like train myself to use the visual indicator just to see what the rhythm looks like as I'm reading it. And then when I'm reading actual sheet music, with like actual note values and stuff, I'm like, oh well, that looks really familiar because the percussion sort of notation with like just X's through the notes because there's no pitch being indicated, like the stems and of the notes and stuff and like the rhythmic, like that looks exactly the same as it does in my sheet music. So you could recognize that rhythm right away. So are you able to do something like that? Is that too sophisticated of a change? Let's just talk about it first. Act as a expert software developer and let's have a discussion about the practicality of this. Whoa, that would be really cool because I basically never use visual indicators. So like I don't need something that says bop, 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 bop. I don't need that. Like I don't need a blinking light like that because I, 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 I never use that. What I need is the sheet music to generate so that when I'm actually reading music on a page, I say, "Oh, I recognize that. That came out of my browser metronome. That's the same rhythm that we can see there." And in fact, if I play along, okay, now I can put the two and two together. Okay, that rhythm that was on the page and that made me pause and say, "What the heck is this?" I see that I know what that looks like now. Like that's going to be really useful. So let's talk about it. So what you're asking is entirely doable. But it does add a fair bit of complexity. Let's talk through the main options and trade-offs. So Music XML alone isn't going to work. Music XML is great for exchanging full scores, but to render it in the browser, you need a heavy XML parser and layout. Okay, so a more pragmatic approach is VexFlow. VexFlow is for music notation. Yeah, let's use VexFlow. Perfect. Yeah, let's do it. So you must define the rhythm and code. Okay. Um, good. Yeah, it looks good. Okay, yeah, this is a good plan. So yeah, let me answer your questions and clarifications, and then you can go ahead and generate the full code. How does that sound? All right, and we are likely we see how laggy it is now. It's because we're meeting the context window. I think the context window is very high, but it's going to be slower. Okay, so let's look in the details. Great, yeah, let's lock it in. So scope and layout. Do I want to display only the current bar or maybe a window of several bars? For example, two bars at once. I don't know. Like I feel like only the current bar is totally fine. If it's too complex to add a window, I mean, I feel like the window feature could would make a lot more sense for like the tempo changes because then you could add like RIT or like a decelerando or like an a tempo or like something like that to indicate the tempo changes. So I feel like in the context of the tempo changes feature, several bars makes a lot of sense. But I think it would be good enough just to only display the current bar. So I think as far as the next one, I think the notation can stay fixed and it can loop back to the start of the bar. I think that's fine. The notation detail, do I want them beamed or unbeamed? I don't know. That's kind of a good question, right? Because it depends on what you're trying to represent. I feel like beamed is a lot easier to read, so I think fully beamed would be better. Let's do standard percussion stems. So let's do it as if we were notating this for a percussionist to play on a drum. Okay, as far as the dependency approach, I'm not sure what the difference is. So I just want this to be, an easy thing that you don't have to wait a lot of time for it to load, and it's not like a big deal to run. Basically, it would be great if I could host this and like have other people use it. So yeah, I don't know what to tell you for this because I'm not an expert enough in this, but I just want you to load fast and not be a big deal to run on various computers. All right, let's see what we got now. Yeah, and with that, like, forget about the visual indicator. I never use it anyway. Like, this is ready to go. But if we can get a better visual indicator, like this is the best metronome already right now. This is like the greatest metronome available on the internet. There's no metronome with that is as feature rich for free as this one. Um, yeah, we're going to show the pattern clearly as a percussionist would read it. Perfect. Wow. My mind is so blown. I did not think it was. I was not expecting it to be this much more advanced than the other ones. This for me, this is the equivalent of it generating pictures with garbled text that you can't read versus it generating pictures that have perfectly readable text. That's like aligned well in it. Like if someone's holding up a sign, it has text rendered within the sign, aligned to the sign that is readable. Like this is the difference in functionality for me. Like this is a huge step up. I never used to be able to use it to write a tool like a tool this sophisticated, especially. You could write a basic metronome that like sucked and that I wouldn't use over other metronomes, but like a metronome with every feature I could ever possibly want. Like we'll see about this one. This one is probably not sophisticated enough to do this, but like it did the tempo changes, it did the subdivisions, it allows for different groupings of odd time. The sound is good. Like it's a real metronome sound. Like wow, it keeps time. The time is accurate. Like wow. All right, let's see if it can make a better visual indicator though, because that's going to be a real game changer. If it can do a visual indicator that's like actually useful. All right, let's give it a shot. Oh, it looks like it took away the color of the start button, but that's okay. I mean, it's so much better organized now. It's not a big deal. Uh, so I think yeah, Vex is not defined. Didn't work. We got a Vex that's not defined. Also, it took away the color of the start button. It didn't work. We got a Vex is not defined error. Also, it took away the color of the start button. I mean, I'm very happy with the other version. Like, forget about that. Who cares about the visual indicator? I never use it anyways. Yeah, so the global variable should be, oh, I see. Okay. So it misread the documentation. Okay, so it should be, okay, got it. All right, let's see if it does it better. If it could do the visual indicator, like, I will truly be mind blowing. I don't think it'll be able to do this. Yeah, it just can't do it. Yeah, same deal. I would be absolutely shocked if it could do that. Uh, yeah, same problem. Uh, yeah, I notice how slow it's running because the context window is like used up. All right, so depending on which VexFlow build you pull in, the global sometimes lands on Vex or on VexFlow. Your page was loading neither reliable, so Vex was undefined. I've updated the includes to use okay. Check whatever, and then okay. All right, let's try it. Okay, so I'm going to take note too. This was 42 lines. Let's see how many lines it is now. So it's actually fewer lines. Okay, so now it's just saying to upgrade, but it's not saying. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. Is there some other solution you can do without Vex? Can you use like SVG or something? Well, it looks like this doesn't work either. Is there some other solution you can use besides VEX? Can you use like SVG or some other solution? Another thing you can do, which I'd be totally okay with, is just like don't worry about it looking pretty. Like just use some sort of like other form of symbols. Like for example, you could have a line to represent the measure, and then you could have like smaller lines, or you can have a line to represent a series of measures, smaller lines to like indicate that there are different measures, and then you can just have like you can just choose your own symbol for the notes, and whatever symbol is the easiest for you to work with. Like forget about it looking exactly like Western standard notation and like using some library for that. Just use like basic symbols that work as synonyms to standard Western notation, but that you can more easily work with in code. All right, let's go back to the version that was awesome. So that would I'd have to do Control Z twice. So we're back to 242. And yeah, this should be the version. So let's reload that. Okay, so we should have the, oh, I think we have to do, yeah, we have to do it one more time. Okay, yeah, I don't know why it changed it so, it made it 200, around 250 lines when before it was over 600. So like, I don't understand why it removes so much code, and I worry that that means, because this is perfect and it's like 600 lines of code. So like, if they're going to add notation, they're going to make it probably well over 1,000, because I feel like that makes a lot of extra code. A network error occurred. But I'm totally happy with this. Like, the visual indicator sucks, but like I never use it anyway. Perfect. So simple, yeah. So we're replacing VexFlow with simple SVGA, which works beautifully without any sort of extra library or anything. We don't need it to look pretty. We need it to be functional. Forget about how it looks. I mean, I'm not even going to be looking at it anyway. I'm going to be looking at the sheet music. How it sounds matters a lot, but we fixed that. Sounds great now. Okay, so there's the grouping presets. Here's applying the tempo changes. There we go. So here's our here's where's good. And this is cool because you're having the AI be creative. Like I'm telling it what to do, but like I'm having it pick out its own shapes. I'm having it pick out its own way of representing things. Like same thing with the tones. Like it picked out its own tones. It picked out a click, a tick, and a bell, and it's doing all of that on its own. That's really cool. Like imagine if I were just to write all this code myself. Like I'd have to come up with, I'd have to give the code what was a click, a torque, or a bell, either by uploading samples or doing what the code did there and just kind of coming up with it on my own. So what I came up with was probably sound a bit different from what the code is here, and they nailed it. Ah, network error occurred. Um, let's try starting a new chat because I feel like we hit the context window. I'll try this one more time, and then we'll start a new chat and tell it to modify that code, um, and then we'll have a fresh context window, and that should it should work better. At the very least, I think it'll be faster. This is so cool. Look, I made this. I made this in less than 5 hours. I made this in about three. This version of it was made in about 3 hours. Like, what? What a world. All right. Yeah, I think it's going to hit a limit because it's hitting the context window. So I think I'm going to see that the issue persists. But that's okay. Uh, we'll start a new chat, and that should fix that issue. And it might even do it. It looks like it's getting close. Yeah, it did it. Perfect. Let's see how it did. Okay, so the first thing I want to see, so this is 636 lines. Let's see how many. Yeah, I made it shorter. That I think that's a problem. Let's see how it did. Okay, so I see something changed. Oh, it actually made this a bit more clear. So let's see if it still works. Yeah, it still adjusts. Cool, that's a lot better. It actually made it better. Okay, let's hear how it sounds. Okay, so we'll change the accent tone to tick. Perfect. Let's subdivide it into eighths. We'll change the and three and four and one and two and three and four and one and two and three and four and one and two. Perfect. We'll increase the. Okay, so this doesn't work in real time, but that's okay. Now let's accent another one. Wow, that's so cool. Let's do sixteenths. 1e and a 2e and a 3e and a 4e and a 1e and a 2e and a 3e and a wow. Let's change it to odd time. Okay, and let's do a standard grouping of odd time. Let's change it to 5/4, and let's do short long. 1 and 3, 3, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then we'll do the other grouping. Long short. 1, 2, 3. Uh, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow. And hopefully people are hearing this. Let's see. Yeah, 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 yeah. In fact, it might be a bit too loud. I'm sorry for that. Um, all right, let's see the visual indicator. Whoa! 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Wow, look at the visual indicator. That is wow. The visual indicator is beautiful. 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. Yeah, and see how it's cut off in half? So it's indicating that it's wow. I am truly blown away. How does it visually indicate the tempo change? So let's have it start at 100 so we can stop it while we're doing that. So we're gonna have it start at 100. Then we're gonna have it speed up to 200. We're gonna start the speed up after 3 measures. We're gonna have a sudden speed up. So yep. So there we go. And we're gonna have it change to 3/4. 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4. Now it's going to change. Ah, okay. So that didn't work. Oh, well, actually, never mind. We never hit add change. There. So now it's got to add. Now it has that change register. So now let's see how it works. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. We. Wow. That is so cool. What happens if I change the duration? Oh, let's change the duration to 3. 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3. Uh, oh, wait. Oh, it changed this. We have to change this back. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Oh, and the change deleted. That's okay. Oh, because I never clicked add change. It'd be great if we could get that button in green. Let's see if we can just figure that out ourselves and turn that button green. Yeah, so we should be able to do that. Um, so then let's look at the add change. Yeah, so we've got the remove change. Where's the add change? Oh, what was it called again? It's called add change. Yeah, so what the heck? I searched for that and didn't get a result. Oh, well, it says it's there. Oh, it's case sensitive. Okay, that's annoying. I don't want it to be case sensitive. All right. How can can you make that add change? Can you make the add change button appear in green? Yeah, it'd be so much easier if that were in green. Yeah, just add a little CSS to style the add change button. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. So we just add this in the style block anywhere we choose to add it. All right, so let's see the style block. So here's the style block. All right, so we'll put it, let's put it here. Okay, so we'll put this on another line. Okay, then we'll tab this out. There we go. This will be tabbed back. Okay, then this needs to be there as well. This will be tabbed out. Cool. Okay, now the add change button is in green, which is a lot better. And here's the visualization. Cool. Oh man, look at this metronome. Holy crap. All right, so let's start on measure 3. Let's have a sudden change to a new beat BPM. Let's have the old BPM be 100. The new BPM will switch to 200. Okay, and then let's see what happens if we do a 3 here. So add change. Oh, you know what I think is going to happen is it's going to change back to the original one after 3. I don't know. Let's see. 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4. Yeah, okay. We didn't have the meter change. So, oh, the duration just does nothing. That's okay. I mean, that's a little bit unclear, but I mean, I did this all in less than 5 hours. Like, holy crap. All right, so now let's have a gradual change, and now the duration actually does something. Um, can you have the let's see if we can get that perfect though. Okay, so it's nearly perfect, just a few very small changes. So I added that change to turn the add change button green. That's perfect. So it's the visual indicator you came up with too. Like congratulations, that is really that's like perfect. So the other thing that I think needs to change is in the tempo changes. When you have a sudden change, uh, the duration does nothing. So like I guess what I'd like you to do is just have that automatically change to NA, like not applicable, if sudden is selected. Another cool thing, another alternative would be instead of it being NA, you could have the duration mean when does it set back to the original tempo. In fact, let's do that instead. Yeah, have it be the duration for that means when does it go back to the original tempo. So you should be able to select any number of measures, but you should also have the option to select like it continues and never goes back to the original tempo. You know what I mean? So I'll leave it to you. If you want to just make it easy on yourself, by all means, just have that duration set to like not applicable if it's set to sudden. How you've got it for gradual is perfect. But if you're feeling ambitious, go ahead and make the duration for sudden mean when do you go back. But the thing is, like, no, don't do that because you can just make a new tempo change to have it go back, right? So yeah, just go with the NA because I think you can just make a new tempo change to have it go back. What are your thoughts on this? Oh, well, it didn't get everything. Yeah, speech recognition failed. Um, so let me add some more. I'll just type it out because the speech recognition failed. I mean, I'm very, very happy with this. Yeah, let's add a gradual change after 3 measures. Let's have the change take 5 measures, and we're gonna make it gradual, and then yeah, it'll stay in the same. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4. Now it's gonna start speeding up. 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2 until it gets to that new tempo. Cool. Yeah, and now what we could do is have it change back. So now we can add a new change to have it go back. Oh yeah, the duration makes sense. It has to have the duration because this will be when does it go back to the original? So it'll go on to the next change after 5, and if there is no next change, it'll just continue with the current change. So so yeah, let's make a sudden change back to 100. 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4. Now it's going to start speeding up. 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4. Now it's going to be in the new tempo. And then it's going to suddenly. Oh shit! Well, it didn't suddenly change. Oh, I didn't change the start measure. That's probably why. That's probably why. Well, shoot. Then we've got to come up with the measure. 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4. Now it'll speed up over 5 measures, and then it should go back to normal. Yeah, went back to normal. I mean, that's not bad. You could just do simple math in your head or use a calculator. All right, I think we're good. So yeah, really cool. Really, really, really cool. So I guess that's it for the video then. Oh yeah, look, it does subdivisions too. The visual indicator is so much more useful now. Look at how much more useful the visual indicator is. Oh, the accent volume doesn't work. Oh, now it's working. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So cool. 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wow. Wow. My mind is so absolutely blown right now. It does it all in real time, too. Oh, there's a bunch of presets for this. Oh, it's so exciting. Wow. Now, the next step that would be really cool is if you could, I mean, you can kind of do it with this. Like, let's say it's in 12/8. So to make it in 12/8, we can put this in and subdivide it into eighths. So now it's 12/8. Change it all to the same tone with no accents. Oh, it looks like it automatically picked that one, but that's okay because they're all the same tone. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, it is accenting though. I guess it's a little hard to make it 12/8. Um, yeah, I'd like it to, I need it to have 12/8. Yeah, it's missing 12/8. Can you add 10/8 and 12/8? Yeah, so now it has 2/4, 3/4, 4/4, 5/4, 6/4, or it has 6/8, 7/8. Doesn't have 8/8. Doesn't need 8/8. You can just use 4/4. I mean, that's basically what it did, is it said, "Oh, well, if you want to use 12/8, then just use 6/8." Because 12/8 is just two measures of 6/8. Well, anyway, that's it for this video. Um, my mind is completely blown. The level of intellectual interaction I had with 4.0-mini-high is beyond any level I've ever had with the AI before. Like, we wrote this whole browser metronome, which I've tried to make things with it in the past. Look, we have the ability to tap the tempo. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. So it's like 94, 90. So like we have the ability to tap the tempo. We have the ability to do the meter and subdivision. We have accent groupings we can do, which is really cool. Tones and levels. Tempo change. This is really cool. I mean, try doing this on your own, like, and then we can save it for this, like, we have a, and on top of that, we have a visual indicator that's like actually useful. So, and it can be improved a lot, but like we did that. We'd all. What's the runtime of this video? It's now 3.5 hours. We did all of this in well under 5 hours. Like, and we got sidetracked and talked about the Sorites paradox in the meantime, and we discovered a new composer. So like I've never had I am officially mind blown by ChatGPT. Like it is 4.0 mini high is a whole new level. It's a whole new paradigm shift. So yeah, I think that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching, and yeah, wow, I'm excited to see what comes next from OpenAI because uh, I'm very impressed by o4-mini-high.